This is CRE 2024 from Milton Keynes. I'm Chris from Monkey Nut, and I'm delighted to be joined by Peter from 31A. Hi, Peter. Thanks for being with us here at CRE.
That's great. Thank you for having us.
Now, let's talk about what it is you guys get up to. It's safeguarding, isn't it? Which is such an important area within the church.
It is so. Most people know us probably for DBS checks and background checks that we do, safeguarding training as well. But we support the church with the whole range of child protection and safeguarding, helping them to implement it well.
Wow. And safeguarding is such a big word. It's a buzzword almost, but there's so much more to it. Let's break it out a little bit
Okay.
and look at what safeguarding really means, because I think we kind of know, but break it down to us from a church point of view. What is safeguarding?
So most people know safeguarding, perhaps from a background in schools or whatever, about protecting children from harm and abuse. But it's not just children; it's also adults as well. So everybody, each of us, at some time in our lives, is going to have a point where we are vulnerable for various different reasons. It could be to do with our age. It could be to do with how old we are, and other aspects of life. And the church in particular is really unique because it's open to anybody. It's very unique in our society in terms of anybody can come in and be part of that. It's not just walking into a building, but being part of a community. So you can have all sorts of people in their families, older people. You can have survivors of abuse in there, but also people that have committed abuse as well. So it's a real mixture of people. And so understanding the unique risks that go with that, I think for churches is really important. And that's where we come in, helping to make the implementation of that side of it as easy as we can.
And let's talk about that implementation, because churches, they are catching up in some places. Let's not shy away from that. And charities as well. This is
Yeah.
very much an important part of what they do too. Let's talk about implementation. So, how would you implement a safeguarding plan into a church? Do you go into the church individually, or do you give them a resource pack? How does it work?
Yes, there's all different parts of. I guess it's a big sort of jigsaw, really. Right from things like template policies. So having a safeguarding policy is really important. So we have a template policy and forms and resources to delivering training for staff. The big thing at the moment is becoming much more prominent is this idea of culture. So understanding what your culture is as an individual church, and helping people to sort of measure that and do a bit of an audit around, is it a safe and healthy culture? Because you can have all the training, all the checks, all the policies, but does the culture of your church facilitate a place that's open, that's honest, that doesn't shy away from issues, and is a healthy place where you can bring up concerns? So that focus really is helping churches to create that safe and healthy culture, and that's not just from the leadership. That's the whole church that does is part of that.
And I suppose let's unpack that even more.
Yeah.
If I am a church
hmm
and there has been a problem, are you guys able to step in and help us?
So we have a safeguarding helpline, so that's there for people to call, and we can talk you through what you might do, how you might respond, and it really depends at where you are as a church. So some churches will be at the very beginning of their kind of safeguarding journey, so it might be quite a new topic, something they're not familiar with. But obviously there are churches who have really well implemented, but still need the extra bit of support from an independent agency to come in and kind of just give that bit of advice and reassurance, really, that they're doing the right thing.
And safeguarding itself, it's not just about doing the right thing, it's about how we talk to people as well, and looking at that angle too. So are we looking at speech when we talk about 31A? Are we thinking about our language and safeguarding in that way too?
Absolutely, it's about making sure that people feel equipped to be able to speak up if they don't feel comfortable, if they see things that aren't right. Because safeguarding, yeah, does have sort of language that is maybe trickier to understand. So, but getting people to know that it's just about making a culture that people are safe in. So we are involved in not just speaking to adults and training adults, but also helping children to understand what that looks like in their context. If a child is feeling uncomfortable or worried or concerned, making sure that they know who are safe people that they can go and talk to, and give them the language around how to raise and speak about issues as well.
I'm so pleased you mentioned children there, because the children side of it must be really, really tricky for someone like you as an organization.
Yeah.
Because as adults, I think we all understand what safeguarding is now, especially in today's society and
Mm.
culture where we hear so much about it in the news. But for a child, then, as you said, they may not understand. So, how are you presenting this kind of work to children?
So we've just launched a new suite of resources called Raise Your Roar that has a central character, Rory the lion, and it's all about speaking up when things don't feel right. And I think it takes children through a number of different things. One is looking at emotions first of all. So how do you identify if a situation is right or wrong, or if you feel uncomfortable about it? So helping identify through their emotions what a sort of a situation might be that they might need to talk to someone about. But then telling them who are useful and good people they can go and speak to. So there might be the obvious ones like the church leader or the youth group leader, but most churches will have a safeguarding lead. But it's also understand that children can speak about concerns that cross different barriers. So it might be something they experience in school and they can talk about it at church, and vice versa. It might be something that happens at church, they can speak to their teacher. So it's helping children to understand that it doesn't matter who you speak to, but the fact that you have people there that you can go and raise concerns with.
Nice. And I think that's so important that you're covering that in so many different ways and in so many
Mm.
different angles. I think so many people will be relieved that you're there to help people do that.
And that's the idea. We don't expect everybody to be a safeguarding expert. That's what we're here for. So we can be that shoulder to lean on, and kind of we can be that source of resourcing and equipping. So churches don't need to have it all together, all figured out. They can come alongside us, and we can support them with that.
Now, your name is 31:8.
That's right.
We were talking about that before. It comes from the book of Psalms, I think you were
Book
telling
of
me.
Proverbs. So
Oh, book of
It's Proverbs
Proverbs.
31:8, Book of
Proverbs
Wisdom
31:8.
that talks about is speaking up, being a voice for the voiceless, and speaking up for the rights of all who are vulnerable. So it's showing that the onus is on us as Christians, that safeguarding isn't something that's coming from outside the church, sort of a burden being implemented on the church externally, but it comes from our core belief that God encourages us and calls us to protect those that need protecting, and it's all wrapped up in that kind of messaging.
Nice. And I guess when you're doing the safeguarding, coaching, training, resourcing of churches and organizations, I guess it is a lot of Christian organizations. Are you able to get a faith element in there?
Um, Absolutely, and I think that's the key message really. It's understanding that because when people are faced with checks and training and policies and all those things, it can feel really daunting, really hard work, and it is hard work. But when people understand that actually this is something that God's called us to do, and it's a positive thing, creating a space that's safe, that's secure, where people can come and share their concerns, share their worries. But that's a really positive thing. And when people get the why we're doing this, often it makes all that other stuff kind of just tick through much easier.
And I guess part of your role as well will be helping churches navigate the ever changing sphere of what safeguarding is. It does feel
Absolutely.
like on a daily basis, whether you read the news or look through a newspaper or read online, that the sphere of safeguarding and what is deemed as correct in the workplace or in a church setting, it moves on quite quickly. How are you going to resource people in that regard? Do you have a regular update with your members?
We do. So we have a membership model. So organisations, churches, charities can become members with us. We have just over 6,500 members, and part of what we do is giving that regular update service. So every month I get an update about some of the emerging issues, because that's the thing. There's new emerging issues for them to be aware of, and also to help unpick for them the sort of intersection between safeguarding versus maybe HR versus maybe legal. So understanding if there's an issue, where it kind of sits in that sort of sphere, and just help them really respond well. That's the key thing. Is it if issues arise, it's how they're responded to is the key. So just making sure churches know how to do that well and have the support there that they can access as well.
Nice. And how do you become a member? Do you need to have anything specific in place to join you?
You don't. So we're open to any organisation that works with children, young people, and adults. And like I said, it's kind of very dependent on where you are on that journey. So if you're completely starting from scratch and you have nothing in place, that we can help you settle that up. But equally, if you've got a well-established sort of safeguarding structure in place, again, we can supplement that and support. So it doesn't really matter where you are on that journey. We can just hold your hand and walk you through what you need.
And it's not just for Christian organizations, I guess. You're happy to have organizations which have
Absolutely.
non-faith?
So we are a Christian charity, and our expertise and our focus is on churches and Christian charities. But safeguarding is the same whoever you work with, and we work with all sorts of different charities, businesses, organisations of various different kinds. So yeah, open to anybody.
Nice. And how important is it to be here at CRE?
It's brilliant. I think because it shows where safeguarding fits in that bigger, broader picture, and drawing what we do into that larger offering that churches can access, it is really good. And to meet so many of our partners and organisations that we work with on a daily basis, so lots of the charities here have areas where we cross over, so it's great just to connect and to meet face to face. Really, people you might have emailed or spoken to actually shake their hand and say hello is a really nice thing for us to do. Yeah.
Fabulous. And if anybody wants to find out more about the work that 318 is doing, or perhaps they would like to become a member, is there a website we can point them out?
Absolutely. So our website is 3018.org. You can go there. It's got all the information you need to join in membership and to learn about our products and services as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming to share your
All right.
story. And we here at CRE would love to see you. Why don't you pop onto the website? It's creonline.co.uk. And from there, you can look at all the exhibitors that are here in 2024, or perhaps you would like to exhibit next year. That's creonline.co.uk.